Nigel Farage has unleashed a fiery tirade, tearing into Labour's latest eco-plan, which he claims could spell disaster for landlords and tenants alike. In a shocking GB News broadcast, Farage didn't mince his words, calling Ed Miliband's proposed energy performance certificate targets for rental properties ludicrous and pretty much impossible. The targets, which aim to raise the energy efficiency rating of rented homes from E to C by 2030, have sparked a fierce debate, with critics like Farage arguing that Labour's plan could devastate the housing market, trigger skyrocketing rents, and drive landlords out of business. Farage, in his characteristic blunt style, warned that these strict energy efficiency measures are completely unfeasible, particularly for older properties. With older properties, if you are going to be able to meet these EPC targets that Ed Miliband thinks you have to by 2030, it is pretty much impossible, he declared. His explosive remarks come at a time when landlords across the UK are already grappling with soaring costs and a fragile housing market. The Labour Party's proposal, led by Energy Secretary Ed Miliband, has drawn heavy fire from all corners of the property sector. While Miliband's plan is designed to tackle what he describes as the Tory scandal of tenants living in cold, drafty homes, critics are raising alarm bells about the unintended consequences of these aggressive targets. The proposal requires landlords to upgrade their properties' EPC ratings by the end of the decade, a move that is likely to be expensive, time-consuming, and potentially devastating for those who own older properties. As Farage pointed out, older homes, which make up a significant portion of the UK's housing stock, often lack modern insulation and energy-saving features, making it nearly impossible to meet the C rating without extensive renovations. But this isn't just about logistics. The cost of these upgrades is astronomical. According to a report from The Telegraph, bringing the UK's rental properties up to Miliband's proposed standard would require a staggering £36 billion in upgrades. In many areas, the average cost to improve eligible properties is estimated to exceed £10,000 per home. Landlords, already squeezed by rising mortgage rates and shrinking tax reliefs, are facing a perfect storm of financial pressures. Michelle Lawson, a financial expert at Lawson Financial, warned that these costs could lead to sharply rising rents as landlords struggle to make ends meet. The additional burden of meeting these targets will undoubtedly lead to rent hikes. Landlords will have no choice but to pass these costs on to tenants, pushing rents even higher at a time when many families are already struggling, she said. The plan mirrors earlier proposals put forward by the Conservative government, which were subsequently relaxed by Rishi Sunak due to concerns about their feasibility. Labour's revival of these targets has led many to question whether the party is out of touch with the realities facing landlords and renters today. Farage, never one to hold back, accused Miliband of pandering to environmental extremists while ignoring the financial burden that will inevitably be passed down to renters. And it's not just Farage sounding the alarm. Chris Norris, of the National Residential Landlords Association, has also been vocal in his criticism of the EPC system itself, describing it as a blunt tool that fails to account for the real energy performance of homes. The system, which relies on non-intrusive assessments, has been plagued by inaccuracies, with a Leeds Beckett University study revealing that 27% of EPCs completed between 2008 and 2016 contained errors. Critics argue that the system is outdated, not fit for purpose, and will inevitably lead to further complications as landlords try to comply with the new regulations. The ramifications of this proposal could be far-reaching. If landlords are unable to afford the necessary upgrades, they may be forced to sell their properties, reducing the availability of rental homes and driving up demand and prices in an already strained housing market. With many landlords already contemplating their future in the market due to high mortgage rates, these new requirements could push them over the edge. This is going to make an already bad situation even worse, Farage warned. Farage's outburst comes as Labour continues to push for aggressive environmental policies, positioning themselves as the party of green energy and climate action. However, the backlash from the property sector suggests that Miliband's targets could face significant opposition before they become law. While Labour insists that the changes are necessary to meet the UK's climate goals and improve living conditions for renters, critics argue that the cost is too high and the timeline too short. The story doesn't end with energy policy, though. Amid this fiery debate, Jacob Rees-Mogg made waves with a surprising revelation regarding the Conservative Party's future leadership. In a bombshell interview, Rees-Mogg backed Robert Jenrick for Tory leader, claiming that Jenrick is the candidate best positioned to steal back Nigel Farage's political ground. Rees-Mogg cryptically suggested that the next Tory leader should either steal Nigel's clothes or make efforts to bring Farage into the Conservative fold. This sparked immediate speculation about Farage's potential future within the Tory party, with some wondering if he might return to the front lines of British politics. Rees-Mogg's endorsement of Jenrick over Kemi Badenoch was an unexpected twist in the Tory leadership race. Despite Badenoch's strong campaign against woke culture, Rees-Mogg believes Jenrick has the necessary gumption to tackle the major challenges facing the country. Jenrick, who narrowly secured his place in the final two against James Cleverly, has positioned himself as the candidate to win back voters who defected to Reform UK, the party led by Farage. In a recent piece for The Telegraph, Jenrick boldly claimed that his plan to cap immigration has rattled Farage, making him the best candidate to reclaim those disillusioned voters. As the Tory leadership contest reaches its final stages, with Jenrick and Badenoch vying for the top spot, Rees-Mogg's comments about stealing Farage's clothes highlight the enduring influence of Farage's populist messaging within the Conservative base. Jenrick has thrown down the gauntlet to Badenoch, calling for a debate anytime, any place, anywhere, as both candidates prepare to make their case to the Conservative Party members. While the leadership battle rages on, the housing crisis continues to escalate. With Labour pushing its EPC targets and landlords facing an uncertain future, the stakes couldn't be higher. Many are now looking to see how the Tory party responds, especially with the potential involvement of Nigel Farage on the horizon. Will landlords be forced out of the market? Will rents skyrocket? And how will this impact the broader housing crisis that's already gripping the UK? As Sadiq Khan faces his own controversies, including a row over Islamic preacher ads that have popped up across the Transport for London (TfL) estate, it seems that political scandals are never far from the headlines. Tory London Assembly member Susan Hall has slammed Khan for allowing ads featuring Mufti Menk, a preacher banned from multiple countries for promoting religious discord, to appear on billboards across the capital. The ads, which also featured former UFC fighter Khabib Nurmagomedov, have sparked outrage, with Hall accusing Khan of double standards. Hall pointed out the absurdity of TfL banning ads featuring a hot dog while allowing figures with controversial pasts to be promoted on London's transport network. With Jacob Rees-Mogg making bold predictions about the future of British politics and Nigel Farage's anger over Labour's eco-plans still echoing across the media, it's clear that the political landscape is anything but calm. Will Labour's eco-targets backfire? Can the Conservative Party find a way to win back the voters it's lost to Nigel Farage? And what does the future hold for Britain's rental market? Stay tuned as these explosive stories unfold. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the latest political drama.